All right, welcome. Now, if you're watching this video, hopefully the idea is, yeah, we need to up our game a little bit. Or you have a situation where your book sales are not going that great. People don't seem to know anything about your book. They don't want to help your book. They don't want to send pictures. There's a lot of apathy in your school and so on. All right, if you're any of those things I just mentioned, then this video is definitely for you. We call this Make Your Book Part of School Life Every Day. Now, don't freak out at that particular point, okay? Don't run for the room or turn off the video. It's actually very easy to do. It's very important to do. We're going to give you the why, and then we're going to give you several ideas that you can start utilizing literally today with the idea of making your book part of school life on a regular basis. All right, so take some notes as we get started here. First off, I guess I'd love to say that I came up with this idea. No, the original idea is right here on your screen. An acquaintance of mine was Casey Nichols. Now, Casey was a longtime former national award-winning yearbook advisor from Northern California. He was phenomenal, one of the best, filled with ideas. His yearbook staff, their yearbook every year was amazing. Casey retired from teaching in the spring of 2020 when COVID started going crazy. Went to work for Jostens in that case, became what's called an ambassador. In other words, did a lot of workshops and stuff. Sadly, we lost Casey to COVID early in 2022. We lost a really good man, but also a fantastic yearbook advisor and yearbook resource. And during his long career, one thing that he used with his own staff in their school is this line that's here on the screen, and that is, make your book part of school life every day. And again, at first glance, you're like, oh my gosh, how are you supposed to do that? That's gigantic. No, it isn't. And we're going to show you some ideas how to do this. And we're going to do more of the why. Why is this important? All right. Again, think about your own particular staff and situation. I spent 25 years as a representative in the field. And during that time, both schools that I worked with or visited and others that I kind of, just saw and so on, in far too many cases, the yearbook in that particular school was essentially a secret. Sometimes that was done intentionally. Sometimes it was just done without thinking. What does that mean? They were a secret. It was a bunch of people in a back room doing something back there. We never see them. We don't know what they're doing. Every now and then somebody will come popping out with a camera. Okay, click, 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 click. Then they go disappear again. We have no idea what they're doing until the school year is essentially over and the new yearbooks show up. And it's like, surprise, the new yearbooks are here. And anymore, especially these days, most students are like, I don't care. Who are you? Am I in this book? I never see you. I have no idea what you're doing. Why should I plunk down a chunk of change, or my parents plunk down a chunk of change for something that I don't know anything about? Because I have no idea who you are. I mean, literally, that's kind of the thought. I have no idea who you are, what you did. I'm not going to buy your yearbook. I have no interest in you because you haven't shown any interest in me. That's why this is important, all right? If you intentionally keep your book as a secret, all right, I'm going to be harsh. That is a tremendous mistake. If maybe you just do it inadvertently, you don't even really think about it. Well, again, most of your student body has no idea who you are and what you're doing. And so the idea we want them to buy a book or buy an ad or something like that, they're not going to do that because they have no idea who you are. Meanwhile, if you take the time to make your book part of school life every day, that all changes. Now it's like, oh, I know who those folks are. I see them all the time. They took pictures of me in my class. They took pictures of my friends at a sports game, and so on and so forth. Now all of a sudden, you're not a secret anymore. Everybody knows who you are. So how can your group be a part of school life every day? It's not hard. Now, hopefully some of these things I'm showing you, at least maybe one or two of them, you're kind of doing already. Question is, are you doing them on a regular basis? Every week, and yes, maybe even every day. All right, let's go down the list. Now, number one on the list is an easy one, social media. And yet, once again, in my 25 years working with schools in the field, most yearbook staffs do nothing with social media, which is a tremendous oversight. The student body, they live on social media. Their parents, yeah, them too. They live on social media. Maybe different outlets, but they're out there. And what we need to be doing is making ourselves visible on social media on a regular basis so that they know, our audience knows, hey, we are working hard doing this and this and this and this. We're covering this, and we got a great picture of that. And we got this story and so on. And the idea is to let people know, yes, we are covering you. So that when you come to them, hey, are your books for sale? Here's how to get one. It's not, well, I don't care about you. It's more, oh, yeah, those folks, yeah, they're really busy. I bet I'm in the book X number of times. I want to make sure I get one. Easiest way to do that on an everyday basis is with social media. Now, these things here on the screen, if you can do your own social media outlet, in other words, your yearbook staff, great. One thing I've noticed is there's a lot of schools out there where they either frown upon or just say you cannot do your own social media outlet for like your club or class or something. I mean, they literally say you cannot do it. And it's all about PR and that sort of stuff. Yeah, okay. If you can do it, great. I would say ask your yearbook company for whatever resources they may have to help you in creating material and maybe posting material. And again, Facebook, Instagram, X Twitter, as I call it, maybe TikTok. All right, maybe some of the other ones. Can your company assist you in different ways with providing you either with material or for ways for you to easily post stuff on social media? If you've never asked them that question, do it today. All right, send them a note, contact your rep or something. Hey, is there some way you can help us out here? I think, and more often than not, the company's going to say, yeah, we got this. And of course, you had no idea that thing's even out there. Here's a thought I actually like better. Instead of sort of building your own social media audience, and again, if you're starting from scratch, you're starting at zero, literally trying to build an audience, what about somehow using your school's social media outlets? Now, hopefully they have a lot of people following them. They're already established. You don't have to set them up. All you have to do is provide material that then the school can post for everybody to see, students, parents, community members, whomever, okay? And it's just, why reinvent the wheel, I suppose, right? All right, why do that? I can guarantee you this, whoever the person is that programs your school social media outlets, posts, and so on, they are always looking for fresh material. If you and your group can provide that to them, fresh pictures, stories, information, and it's your people, your students, your teachers, and so on, you can hand that to your school's social media person and said, here, why don't you post this? I can guarantee that social media person is going to be thrilled because one, you just made their job a lot easier. Two, it's a chance to put some fresh material out there. Three, more fresh material out there. They will love you. And if you can then do that over the course of an entire school year, hey, that's nothing but a good thing. So make that relationship with your school's social media person, if it's an IT person or a school secretary, whoever it is, and say, hey, we can help you out. And by the way, it could be a situation later on where you need a favor and you say, hey, we've been helping you out. Hey, we got a problem with something. Probably more apt that person's going to say, hey, let me see what I can do to help you out because you've helped out them. Simple thing. Now, another possible idea, depending on the size of your staff, of course, probably everybody on your staff does their own social media posting, right? Could be TikTok, Instagram, maybe Facebook, maybe Twitter, X, and so on. All right, those folks can take yearbook material and post it out on their outlets to share out with their particular audience. So let's say you have like 10 people on your staff and they all do social media something. All right, why can't they post yearbook material to their own audiences with hopefully the insinuation, hey, share this out with others. All right, this is the old line about going viral. That's how you do it. So there's different ways you can use social media on a regular basis. And that's a key word, regular. at least twice a week, preferably again every day. And it could be something simple as a picture taken at the basketball game last night, or some information that the whole student body should be seeing. In this case, it comes maybe from the yearbook staff. Or, hey, we really need pictures of this blah, blah event. If you can help us out, here's how to send it to the yearbook staff. And you give them instructions. All right. Regular outreach via social media is something these days it is crucial to do. And again, most yearbook staffs do nothing. Let's see if we can change that maybe starting today. All right. How about this one? Now, maybe not every school has video boards in their school, but most do. And it could be one in the main office. It could be in your main entrance. It could be in the cafeteria, maybe in a main hallway, by the gymnasium as people are coming in for games and so on. Maybe somewhere there's a school video board. Now, once again, somebody is programming that video board. Imagine if you could provide them with material from your yearbook staff to put up on those video boards to make them, let's say, a little more interesting to read, all right, as people are walking in or walking by. Now, there's a particular idea that I think I came up with. I call it a caption image. Now, keep in mind, a video board is like a standard television, so it's horizontal. All right, we're not talking vertical, video here. We're talking horizontal here. What if you could somehow create, again, what I call a caption image, which is simply a picture and a caption. And with a picture and a caption, we can now tell somebody's story essentially in one image. Now, depending on how you make your yearbook, you can do this with a software program like Adobe InDesign. I'm fairly certain if your company has online tools that you use to make your pages and so on, there's probably some way to use that as well, all right? And all you pretty much do is you have a blank page and you put down a picture and you put down a caption next to it. And what you do is then you've got it in position. You save that page either directly as an image file, probably a JPEG file, or maybe there's some way you save it as a PDF file, and you can then convert that to an image file. All right, let's show you an example. Here's a quick example that I created a while back. All right, we got some guys going crazy at a basketball game. And so we got their interesting picture there on the left. On the right-hand side is a caption. And in 2, maybe 3 lines, we can tell a story going along with that photo. All right, hopefully you know about writing good photo captions. Very simply, who's in this picture? What are they doing here? And if you can, share some more details with me on these guys, on the game, on what's going on. If you get a chance, talk to somebody, maybe get a brief quote like we have here in this example. Put this together, picture, caption, save that as an image, and then provide that image to whoever does the video boards. Frankly, it could be whoever does your social media. And now all of a sudden, if this comes popping up on a video board at your school, I can guarantee people are going to stop and look like, oh, yeah, oh, there's me. Or, hey, there's my friends right there. What's going on? And they are interested. Now, all of a sudden, people over time will start to look forward to going by the video boards like, what's new up there? We're storytellers. That's our job. Why not do it this way with what I call caption images? Very, very simple to produce. And then you can save these images, well, maybe for something later, which we'll cover in just a little bit. All right, this one. I'm assuming everybody knows what a meme is, okay? Why not create your own fun yearbook memes? Now, yes, this is one, this goes back to COVID time, all right? And obviously, this is a picture of a dog on its back. Well, whoop, we go a 180 and you get this really interesting photo with the cute little one-liner there, all right? Yearbook memes are just fun, all right? Now, you got to be careful with humor, all right? Sometimes people use humor maybe the wrong way and it's a little biting, a little nasty. No, we don't want to go there. We just want some fun-filled memes. Either they're kind of straightforward or kind of like this, I think really, really funny. And then tie that with yearbooking. Probably at the bottom of this image, I would somehow put a line in there, courtesy of the blah, blah yearbook staff. In other words, the name of your book. Courtesy of the blank yearbook staff. And if somebody is creative and they can do like a series of these memes, and once again, put up on video boards, put up on social media. People will start to see these. Hopefully, they'll be entertained. And at the bottom, they're always going to say or see, courtesy of the blah, blah yearbook staff. Now you are yearbooking maybe every day, at least every week, for something that people over time will start to look forward to seeing. Now you're not a secret anymore, all right? Now think about this. When your staff goes out to take pictures, does anybody even know they're there? Like, hey, there's yearbook people here. I think in a lot of cases, the answer is probably no. The yearbook kid or someone's kind of trying to hide, like, I don't want to be very visible. All right, hold on, click, 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 click. No, that's not the way to do this. When you are out covering stories, out taking photos, sports games, plays, classes, events, whatever it is, you need to be visible. Now, let me start at the bottom. Hopefully, you already have what's called a press pass. So if somebody goes out to cover an event, they have a press pass with their information that they wear somehow so that teachers know, okay, that's a yearbook kid. All right, come on in, go ahead, take your pictures, not just somebody. Definitely, if you don't have press passes, again, ask your yearbook company or your representative, hey, do you have some template for press passes? They should have something. Ask them and then create your press passes for every member of your staff. The other two are just two I've kind of tossed in there. Maybe, every year there are some staffs, they get a yearbook t-shirt for that particular year with their theme and all that sort of thing. Okay, when you go out to cover an event, you should always be wearing your yearbook t-shirt so that when people see the yearbook t-shirt, they're going to say, oh, the yearbook staff is here. Okay, great. And maybe they want to get a picture taken or something like that. You could wear what I call a recognizable hat. All right, something up here. So that, again, when you go out, maybe it's a very colorful hat, it's got stuff on it or whatever. The idea is to be visible. We do not want to be invisible. We don't want to be hiding. We want to be out in front. People will see that and they'll say, oh, the yearbook staff is here. And then, a couple days later, oh, the yearbook staff's here again. Now, all of a sudden, you are part of school life, maybe literally every day, simply by making yourself a lot more visible. That's always a good idea. Now, when you do all these things, what happens? Well, think about it. When you become a lot more visible, people are more used to you. So hopefully more students might be interested in saying, boy, yeah, yearbook staff, they've been everywhere taking pictures of me and my friends, and they went to a game that I was taking part in and so on. I think I'm a lot more interested in getting a yearbook this year because it's not a secret anymore. You're out in front of your audience every day on a regular basis. I have yet to meet a yearbook staff that, oh, we've got plenty of photos. No, more often than not, it's like, oh, we're short here and we're short there and we could use some here. Well, we do know, right? Students probably have a smartphone in their pocket and they know how to use it. So how can we get some of them to send pictures to us? Students would be a lot more willing to do that if the yearbook staff is sort of a regular in the school building every week and even every day. Now, that could be a situation like, hey, we can't go on the science field trip on Thursday, but some students will be going. They probably all have their smartphones with them. Boy, if we could get some of them to take some pictures of what they're doing on their field trip and get them to us, maybe we'll do a module or something on a page about their science field trip. Great. All right. People will be far more apt to send you photos and actually take some and send them to you than if you're a secret, like, I don't know who you are. What do you want me to do? When you do this on a regular basis, now it's like, oh, I want to be a part of that. And you'll get some kids, they'll be sort of semi-regular photographers at a sports game, on a field trip, at an event, at the play. They'll whip out their phone. They'll be taking photos, maybe at things that your staffers can't get to. Think about polls and surveys. All right, students love to take polls and surveys, share their opinions and so on. Well, if it's some, strange group that I rarely see anymore, and all of a sudden they want me to take a poll or a survey, I don't know if I want to do that. Meanwhile, if you're out there regularly, well known to everybody, okay, here's this month's yearbook staff survey. Okay, I want to be a part of that because I see these guys all the time. So students might be a lot more willing to share information with you, well, of course, which is great to use in your yearbook in various places. Maybe you have a line in there, okay, you feel this way, tell us why you feel this way, and people can put in an answer. Well, that's a quote. And if you get their permission and you quote them, hey, that just adds more to the storytelling. And for advisors watching this, yes, you always want to be recruiting. Who's going to be on staff next year? Who's going to be on staff 2 years from now? If you're a secret, nobody knows who you are, it's going to be a lot more difficult to recruit good, hardworking students because nobody knows who you are. If you're out there on a regular basis, very visible, now when it's time, hey, we're looking for new yearbook staffers for next year, I think a lot of kids are going to say, man, that looks like a lot of fun, and I could probably get some valuable experience doing that. All right, sign me up. It makes recruiting for next year and beyond a lot more easy. Now, here's a thought. Now, this might be mainly for high schools, colleges, maybe middle schools. All right, you got your yearbook, and maybe your school also has a newspaper staff or maybe a broadcast team. All right, we're looking for visibility. Is there some ways that you can kind of collaborate with those other groups? Why not work together? All right, you pretty much all have the same job. Hopefully, you're all telling stories, and you're doing it in different ways. Well, if one can help the other, if a newspaper group can help out the yearbook staff with something, or you can help them out with something, and that could just be providing them with fresh photos, again, from the basketball game last night. They probably would love that if they don't have a photographer that can get to the game. And broadcast team, same basic stuff. If you can provide them with photos that they use as stills in their broadcast, great. See if you can pursue those opportunities if they're available to you to collaborate with other student groups. They help you out, you help them out. That increases your visibility, which is nothing as absolutely good thing. And finally, a lot of times with yearbook, all we do is think about the book. It's all about the book. Well, the book's pretty darn important, but when does the yearbook come out? It comes out once a year, right? May, June, maybe summer, early fall, depending on your shipping and timing and all that sort of thing. Meanwhile, there's all the other months of the year. You're gathering all this information the whole time, pictures, stories, information, going out interviewing and quoting people and so on. Why not do this all year long in various digital ways? Now, we've shared social media. We mentioned school video boards. Now, maybe you're doing this already, but you already sort of have a digital arm, and maybe you save stuff on your school server, or maybe you do something maybe with YouTube or some other, special website and so on. And so you can take your material, maybe save it there, all right? If it's video type material, by the way, yearbook staffs, you can do video type material. There's nothing that says you can't. People love watching videos. Why not get video material from the yearbook staff? If you're there anyway and you can take some videos, do it. People love that stuff. And then maybe along with the end of the year, you've got your book and it's all done. We also have sort of this digital service saved somewhere, whatever your outlet is. And you've got the old QR code. People can scan the QR code that you put on a page. Now, all of a sudden, along with their yearbook, they have access to all this other great stuff that maybe you didn't necessarily have room for in the yearbook. All right? Why not? And you can share that stuff out literally all year long. Again, the idea, make yearbook part of school life every day. Arrange it, organize it how you want. Again, here we have a digital image or a caption image. All right, definitely save those. Save them on, again, some website somewhere where you can access it digitally. People would love to see stuff like this for many years into the future. If it can't make the book, it can still make this other way. Why not try it? Now, for those of you that maybe have a larger yearbook staff, a good number of kids, and there are times, and I've seen this a lot, where I can't keep all these kids busy all the time. There's so many of them. Well, I've just given you a bunch of ideas to get all these extra kids things to do on a regular basis that may not necessarily get in the book, but it absolutely helps to promote and market the yearbook staff, and the different things that they're doing. There is plenty of things to do here for a large staff. Now, let's turn it around. Let's say you have a very small staff. Maybe in this particular instance, you pick one kid and they're pretty much your digital kid. And so they come up with material taken from what the whole staff does, and they provide it to the school video board person. They provide it to the school social media person. They save it so at the end of the year, we can post that somewhere digitally on a website and then get the QR code that people can scan with their smartphone or device, and then they can see all this extra stuff that didn't make the yearbook. So it doesn't matter if you have a large staff or a small staff. Being part of school life every day is definitely doable. So to wrap up, have a lot of fun with this. This gives us a chance to really expand our storytelling way beyond just what we're putting on our pages. We get to do it on a regular basis. Yes, we are informing and entertaining our audience on a regular basis. We're not a secret anymore. We're not hiding in a back room. Everybody knows what we're doing, and they look forward to seeing what we're going to do next. And trust me on this one, again, from 25 years in the field, folks who actively do this sort of stuff, all of a sudden, this vibe at school, I think, starts to change in a much more positive direction. So I mentioned at the top here, if you've got a school that seems to be just full of apathy right now, just people have an I don't care attitude, if we actively tell more stories, gather more information, and share it out with people on as many different people as we can, not the same people over and over. No, 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 no. As many different people and groups and grades and whatever as we can, I think ever so slowly, your effort is going to start to make a positive difference at your school every day, every week, every year. Guaranteed, your administrators would love this, because every administrator at every school out there, that's a goal. How can we make a more positive outlook for our building right now and this year? You and your group could be part of the answer. Probably doing the same basic stuff you're doing already. Just don't keep it a secret anymore. I hope this video helps you out. Again, contact your yearbook company or your representative. Ask them for various materials and information that they have that can help you with this particular instance, this particular effort you're trying to make. They have something. Just ask them and then start using it and watch the difference happen. Thanks for watching.